Alright, so we are going to be starting this run off by naming myself Rad, because, rad as hell, with the rival being named Dumb. You know, because they're kind of, just a big dumb dummy. So, this run is, of course, a PRIMEAPE run. PRIMEAPE evolves from Mankey, or Monkey. And, Monkey is a red version exclusive in Pokemon Red and Blue. And last time I did Weak Trebel, so this time I'm going to do Monkey. So, the thing about Monkey is you get it, after you fight Bill, which is after Nugget Bridge, my favorite location. But you can get, Monkey before you fight, Misty. And so it's, you know, it's not terribly different. I chose, Charmander for my starter because, it's red version. I think I lost against the rival. You know, you can go rewind and look yourself. I lost against the rival. It's a hard game. I don't, you know, what can I tell you? It's a really hard game. So, go get the Parkel, get the hell back on over to Oak, get the Pokemon Dexter. And, you know, you've seen this game before. That's why I'm playing it at you know, 7x speed or whatever it is. And, so, the thing about this run, that, was challenging, and again, this is my third run of Pokemon Red and Blue and Green, so I'm kind of, you know, I'm kind of going at this from the perspective of, you know, I'm still learning how to speedrun these games, and when I say that, I mean, I'm learning the methodology behind playing the game as quick as possible. Like, what that means is, like, trainers I can skip. I'm still learning about that. Trainers that I want to get. I'm still learning about that. So you see, I skip a couple guys in Viridian Forest. Probably should have done that when I used Bulbasaur and Squirtle. But using Charmander, especially having lost to the rival, probably could have used a couple extra trainer battles for experience. We'll get back into that later. But again here, so my time is not very good. This spoiler alert is took me about somewhere around 5 hours to get this done. And I should also start laying down some ground rules. And maybe I'll make a graphic for this when I edit this, I'm not sure. But here are the rules for these videos, at least the last couple ones and the ones going forward. So I went back into Viridian here to get some extra experience because I'm stupid. So the rules are I'm using the Glitchless Classic Speedrunner category rule set, which basically the big things about that are you cannot use the Pokédoll on Marowak. And I also think that, like, you know, you're not supposed to be able to dig out of, like, a Pokemon Center or some shit like that. I don't know if that's a glitch or not. I have to look into that. I don't know. I've never, to be honest with you, I haven't been using dig or escape ropes at all in any of these runs, just because I haven't really learned the appropriate time to do that yet, because I'm a little stupid. And again, that's the thing with still learning the games, is I'm just going, I poison warped back to the gym. You know, it's a speed run, guys. You know, I'm speed running. So now I'm trying against the gym here, and you know, it's not the easiest thing in the world, but I am level 11, so you know, I made it work eventually. So yeah, Glitchless Classic is the main rule set. I personally am doing these runs, at least so far I've been doing them, and I'm planning on doing this in the foreseeable future as single segment. What that means is there's no saving. And there's no quitting, obviously, because there's no saving, so I can't load a game even if I did quit. What that means is, you know, I hope I don't kick my Super Famicom and accidentally freeze the game, because then I'm fucked. I did that in this run, actually. I was moving, I was adjusting my seat, and I put my Famicom on the floor where my feet are. And I accidentally kicked it, and I remember that happened once when I was playing a Super Game Boy 2 game at some point, and it froze. So I was really worried. It was fine. This run, you know, you're watching a commentary. Oh, by the way, we're fighting Brock. So I slowed it down so you can see how long it took. It took me this long as well. You gotta ember this motherfucker. I love the Geodude's sprite in Red and Blue. Like, he's got that weird ass noodle arm. Like, what the fuck's going on there? And then his other arm is just doing a big old thumbs up, you know? Like, it's just a great sprite. I mean, you don't see this shit anymore. Honestly, like, I would love to play a ROM hack of, like, Fire Red, Leaf Green, because to me, that's the peak Pokemon art style. I didn't really follow much after Diamond and Pearl. So to me, Fire Red, Leaf Green, you know, Gen 3. Gen 4 is very similar to Gen 3 in the art style, but just Gen 3 peak art style. But I'd love to see, like, the pixel count, the, you know, of Fire Red, Leaf Green, but in the fucked up art style of Red and Blue. I would love to see, I'm sure someone has made, like, high-res, you know, modern art style, like colors, you know, you're not limited to a specific palette, that kind of stuff. I gotta come up with something to talk about while Brock is on screen, because, you know, this guy takes fucking 12 years to fight. And again, I had to choose Charmander because this is my third run. I did green, I did blue, now I'm finally doing red, so I have to do the box starters for these. Next run, I might actually start mixing it up. We'll see. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do next. You know, you'll find out when I find out. But I had to use Charmander, even though Charmander is obviously terrible for this run, especially because, like, the best starter I think would have been, you know, Squirtle, or maybe even Bulbasaur. Anything that can take down Brock, because you can get Mankey before Misty. So, but I chose Charmander. I had to, and you know, Brock, put him down easy. I just love Brock in Red and Blue. He's got that weird thing where he makes an X on his chest with his arms. He's not wearing a shirt or something. Really bizarre type of guy. The anime, in my opinion, did Brock a major disservice, and I feel like most representations of Brock since Red and Blue have been based on the anime, which in my opinion did him a massive disservice. But anyway, I haven't watched the anime in a long time. So back to the rules that I mentioned. We're going through Route 3. You've seen Route 3 before. Who cares? So I'm doing all of these runs Glitchless Classic rule set on Speedrun.com. And I'm adding in my own personal challenge where I'm doing it single segment. I don't want to deal with saving and quitting. I don't want to deal with, like, what if my batteries die and then all my strats are devised around, you know, having a saving mechanism. My cartridges are all relatively fresh batteries, but, you know, it's been a while since, I personally haven't changed the batteries, and I did buy them a decent amount of time ago, so I don't really know what the status of the batteries are. I can change them if I want to, but it is a hassle. So if I just do single segment, doesn't matter, right? Who cares? Especially because in Red and Blue, it doesn't kick you back to the title screen after, like, in the middle of the game. I'm not sure in Gold and Silver, do you have to reload from the title screen after beating the Elite Four? I don't remember. I think you do. I think you do. So you do need some sort of saving mechanism to beat Gold and Silver, I think. I don't know. But anyway, for Red and Blue, single segment is what I'm doing. And for these runs, these are called, in Speedrun.com terms, these are called the alternative main runs. So that's kind of the subcategory that I'm doing. And the subcategory alternative main basically says you need to get the main Pokemon with the minimum number of badges. So in this instance, I could go and take down Misty. But because you can do Nugget Bridge and do Bill, and then get Mankey, and then do Misty, it would not satisfy the criterion of minimum badges. So technically the minimum amount of badges you can get Mankey is 1, which is Brock. So assuming you're not, you know, flying around with glitches or whatever. I have to learn the glitches, and that's going to be a whole separate fun thing for me, as I can't wait to learn all the Red and Blue glitches to do, like, you know, the glitch-tastic categories of speedrunning. But, you know, there's no real issue here to note. Nugget Bridge, you know, I did get that 1%, that 1 HP. Damn. You know, I'm really, like, Charmeleon's back sprite, man. I don't even know what the fuck that is, let alone can comment on whether or not it looks like Charmeleon. I don't even know what it looks like. It looks really fucked up. But we all know that. So single segment, glitchless classic, alt main, basically means get it as soon as possible. And so the Speedrun.com rules stipulate that it needs to, like, participate in fighting every Pokemon. So I don't exactly know how I feel about that, whether or not I agree with that being a rule. Versus, I don't exactly know the best ways to go about that when it comes to actually doing a speedrun, right? So what that means is if my Pokemon faints, and then let's say there's 2 Pokemon left on the enemy team, my main faints on the first one, my backup manages to faint that guy, and then the second Pokemon comes up. By the way, here's Mankey. And I'll pause that hypothetical. for a moment here, because this is going to be the Pokemon. Again, I'm not resetting at all. I should say that I don't know how long I will keep up that really close scratch, by the way. I don't know how long I'll keep this in my category, my personal challenge stipulations, but I'm not resetting for stats. I'm not catching 12 Mankeys and then picking the best one. I'm not resetting for stats on my starters, at least not now. I don't know how much time that's necessarily, you know, like, gonna save. I know that when you get a really high level stat-wise starter, that it kind of makes the early game more of a breeze. I don't know how much of an effect it has on the early game versus the late game. I really don't know how much time it saves overall. And I also don't want to sit around and reset for Pokemon. To me, like, if I get to the skill level where resetting for a good Pokemon is required for me to get a time that I want, I will do it. I will implement it in that capacity. But again, this is my third run. I'm still kind of learning the ropes here, and I'm setting some, like, frankly bad benchmarks that hopefully I'll be able to beat in the future, and so I just don't want to do any sort of stat resetting. But back to the other thing. If the second Pokemon faints, you know, I'm kind of locked in. Let's say I have no revives, and my second Pokemon is a situation where, like, you know, right now my Charmeleon is a higher level than my Mankey, right? So, like, it is more likely if the Mankey faints that the Charmeleon will be able to actually do some significant damage. Right now I'm just trying to train up my guys. And then I'm like, well, shit, it does take a while to actually go all the way back down there. So I'm going to go up here and clear out some trainers and just level up my Mankey. So, again, I don't really know about the rules. I haven't really thought about whether or not these runs are technically even valid by those rules. I haven't, like, you know, it's not like I'm marking down all of the potential moments of invalidity. But I'm hoping that I'm balancing that out with the fact that my runs fucking suck. Right, so it doesn't really matter if they're valid because I'm playing this game in 5 hours. Like, anyone can beat Pokemon Red and Blue in 5 hours. It's not that impressive, right? So, like, hopefully when I start getting better times and getting better at the game, I'm going to pay more attention to that rule set. But I'm, you know, that's all. Those are basically my challenge stipulations, at least for right now, for my third run of Pokemon Red, Blue, and Green. Again, just to reiterate, single segment, Glitchless Classic, and Alternative Main. You know, getting the Pokemon before as many badges, the least amount of badges. I apologize if I'm a little, you know, I'm a little tired. I'm a little exhausted from playing Pokemon all night, and I do the commentaries in the morning. So, you know, because I'll be honest with you, when I was playing this, and here we go and fighting the rival on SSN, this one didn't actually it wasn't actually that hard. I decided to go into the shift battle scenario so that it's easier to just train up my dude. You know, it's just whatever, man. Like, to me, I have this ingrained in my brain of, like, I've always played Pokemon on set mode just because it's slightly more difficult. But for a category like this where you need to do this, like, weird thing where they need to participate in every battle, I just figured whatever, shift them. It's easier to train them up that way, so I'm just whatever, bite the bullet on that. So I basically use Charmeleon here as heavy hitting, and just kind of level up the Mankey a little bit at a time, and just go from there. But again, I don't quite. I do these commentaries in the morning because, like, when I was playing this run, I actually did it last night, and when I was playing it, I drank an entire bottle of wine from start to finish. There's a couple times where I do get up and pee in the middle of this run, and this currently is my best time. I'm at the point in my speedrunning career where every run I do is better than the previous by a significant margin, just because I'm so new. So that I was like, you know what, fuck it, it's Pokemon as well. Like, I'm gonna get shit-faced. I'm gonna get really fucked up. So I drank an entire bottle of wine throughout the duration of this video. I think I probably polished off the last drop by around 3 to 4 hours. So, you know, there's gonna be a lot of, like, execution, you know, kind of like, whoops, you know, a little bit of those moments. Not too many. A little bit of those moments here and there. And that's just how I have fun here. You know, I don't endorse it. I gotta say it. Otherwise I'll get banned. I do not endorse it. The Surgeon General, he was right. I was wrong. But also, the thing about when I do my runs is I You know, I'm at the point where the runs are long enough that it's kind of out of the question to do 2 in one day, so I kind of can just do these at night, you know, sleep it off, wake up in the morning, do the commentaries. I might get into a position where if I can get this run down to like 3 hours, you know, it depends on what Pokemon I'm going for. Like, some Pokemon are going to be really slow, some are going to be really fast, right? So, but if I can get my average run down to like 3 hours, maybe I'll start doing a couple in a day. And if that's the case, I don't know how I'm going to handle the commentaries. I like to handle the commentary as this is the most recent run, so that it's fresh in my brain. But we'll see. I just have to come up with something to talk about while I rub the captain's back. You know, really bizarre, by the way. Just very strange. Just this whole, you go on this boat, the rival apparently just talked to him and rubbed his back, which is like, is he just asking everyone to give him a back rub? Very strange. I don't know, man. Very strange. Very strange stuff. And then, yeah, like, so, Primeape, which is the evolved form of Monkey, is honestly, like, hardcore. Like, I knew that Primeape would be really good. I knew that it would probably end up being better than, Victory Belt. But I didn't, like, kind of grasp how good Primeape was. And again, like, a lot of what these runs are right now, as I'm recording this is my 3rd run. You can see the little list at the left-hand side of the screen. This is the, like, this is my period in Pokemon where I'm kind of still, like, I played a lot of these games as a kid, but I don't know all the ins and outs. I've got a lot of those, like, Mandela effect memories of Gen 1, where it's like, I played a lot of Gen 1, 2, and 3, and then I played Gen 4 when it came out, but that's kind of where I dropped off of Pokemon around after Heart Gold came out. I hung on just enough to play the remakes of the best Pokemon games, Gold and Silver, and then I noped out around that point. And maybe, you know, if anyone's curious, I can elaborate on that, but it wasn't like a major decision. I just wasn't into it anymore. But it's not that I disliked Pokemon, it's just that I didn't, you know, money was a big factor, you know, buying new games versus, like, that's when I discovered ROM hacks, in the Gen 3 era, and, just why buy a new Pokemon game? Especially if it's on a new console, like when the 3DS ones came out, not even a non-starter. Why buy a Pokemon game when I can just download one that's probably way better for free? You know what I mean? So that's when I went into my ROM hack era of Pokemon play. So I don't really know much about the newer Pokemon, but I do have this, like, weird Mandela effect sometimes of Fire Red to Red, because I most when I was a kid, most of my play in Kanto was in Fire Red and Leaf Green. I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again just to fill some time, but I mostly rented from Blockbuster, Red, Blue, Gold, and Silver. So my experience when I was very young was, like, just playing random bits here and there. Like, I would start the game a lot of the time, because a lot of the time you get a save file that's at the end, so you just kind of wander around, you start a new game. So I played the beginning over and over and over again of Red and Blue and Gold and Silver, and I played just random bits in the middle. It wasn't until the Game Boy Advance generation that I started having my own copies of Pokemon games. So I got Ruby, which was my first, like, Pokemon game that I owned, and then I got Fire Red shortly after, because Fire Red had just come out. That was, like, the week it came out, that I got Fire Red. So then I played a lot of Fire Red, and then when, around that time was when I bought, my own copies of Red, Blue, Yellow, Gold, Silver, Crystal, and can you believe it? You could buy them all for, like, $2 back then each. And then that's when I played a lot of them. So I have this weird Mandela effect where sometimes I forget what's in Fire Red versus in Red and that kind of stuff. But in Red, and this all goes back in to say that Primeape and Mankey in Red are fucking insane. First of all, Dig is insane, and I taught Dig to Mankey. Mankey's got a crazy, like, ability to learn shit. Oh, by the way, this is a Misty fight, in case you couldn't tell. Like, Mankey can learn Thunderbolt. What? Mankey can learn Dig? Okay, that makes a little bit sense. But then also you got Karate Chop. And Karate Chop has this a handy ability where it always crits, or, like, at least it crits 99% of the time. I don't know. And Karate Chop is just insane. It's insane. And then you got Thunderbolt, which is, like, also What the fuck? How come Mankey can learn Thunderbolt? I don't get it. Like, he moves so fast that it creates thunderbolts? Electricity of some kind? I don't know. Someone explain it to me, because I simply do not understand. But anyway, so basically, take down Misty. You know, I decide to, you know what, fuck it. Skip Lieutenant Surge. I'm right here. I might as well just go through Rock Tunnel, do all this horse shit. It's around this time where Mankey can start reliably taking down pretty much every Pokemon. You know, I don't have to really do that swap training horse shit anymore. It's not really necessary at this point. I hit this Pokemon Center, learned from some mistakes, and Rock Tunnel. I've been having some problems in Rock Tunnel as of late. I don't, you know, when I say as of late, this is only my third run, so I'm really still learning the ropes on Rock Tunnel. And Mankey did pretty well, but not so well that I came out unscathed. You know, I was, to be honest with you, I was relatively scathed. I did receive some scathing in this way, and you can see that. So yeah, like, again, does that count as alt main? You know, because Monkey fainted and then Charmeleon finished the job. I think so. I think it counts. I don't know. But I'm going through Rock Tunnel here, saving Lieutenant Surge for later. And again, so the major things that I have tried to implement, my lessons that I've learned from my first two runs that I tried to implement into this run, are I wanted to have a wider amount of moves for ghost types, especially Pokemon Tower. And so I think Thunderbolt and Karate Chop, I think they really... I think that those covered me for Pokemon Tower. I had a little bit of problems with Agatha, and we'll get there, you know, much later when we get to the end of the game here. But, you know, Agatha, like, to me, in my recollection, Agatha was always one of the easier Elite Four members, because whenever I've played this game, I always have a Pokemon that knows Surf, and Surf can just one-shot pretty much Agatha's entire team, right? So I've always been under the impression that Agatha is very easy. But doing these kind of, you know, it's not necessarily a one Pokemon run, because I do have some extra guys that I can swap into, and I do use items when I need to, right? So it's not that restrictive, but really it is kind of that restrictive. So took a little pee break here. Again, the wine was really starting to kick in. So, you know, having just one Pokemon, you really need to have some sort of move, a dedicated move, really, to taking down something like Agatha's team. And to me, I think Thunderbolt handled both Lorelee and Agatha pretty well. This is when I capture Spearow. I need a Flying-type Pokemon. I guess I don't need a Flying-type Pokemon. There's plenty of non-flying Pokemon that can learn Fly, right? Can Charizard learn Fly in this one? I don't think so. Didn't they add that in yellow version? I could be spewing misinformation. I don't know, man. Maybe you do need a Flying-type Pokemon. Maybe you need a Bird-type Pokemon? You know, Bird-type? Pretty good. I got jokes. So, now we're heading into the Rocket Hideout. We got Primeape already. You know, I kind of just talked over the evolution. It's not that important. Mankey evolves, you know, didn't see that one coming. But, like, once you get Primeape, like, this run just becomes extremely easy. There was a couple of spots where I got a little tripped up, but for the most part, this run is extremely easy. I love having the lift key or whatever it is spawn on top of me. I love doing that when I fight that guy. Just a little fun little thing. You know, I enjoy it. But yeah, so Monkey is like or Primeape in this instance is just honestly insanely good. Like, Dig in Red and Blue, Dig is like fucking incredible. Karate Chop, provided the opponent is not like super defensive or like immune or not, or just, you know, resistant, I should say, against fighting types, provided that's not the case, Karate Chop is just insane. And, so here we're fighting Giovanni. I think this is the first Giovanni battle. And again, I'm already level 31, and you got Dig, you got Karate Chop. Like, this is just going to be a no difference competition. And so, it's just down, 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 down. I slow down some of the I guess, dramatic fights. when I'm playing around with a lot of editing styles, by the way. This is my 3rd video, so I'm kind of fucking around with different editing styles as I go. I don't really know which one I'm gonna end up with here. This one I tried to have like most of the run be visible, just with fast forward. So you know, I tried to slow down some of the dramatic fights and fast forward through some of the walking around and all that kind of stuff. Let me know what you think if you're watching these. I know nobody is watching these. But if you are watching these, feel free to let me know. Give me some feedback. Unless it's like 7 years from now and you're watching these, because then I probably don't need the feedback by that point. Maybe I will. It's possible, but if it, you know, just check the date of when this was uploaded, and you know, 6 years from now, maybe I'll need it. 7 years from now, I think it's safe to say I don't need the feedback anymore. But hey, we won't. Who knows if we'll even be here in 7 years? As I'm recording this, Iran and the United States are at war. So, you know, who knows how that's going to end up. So, you know, just, hey, maybe Lieutenant Surge can help me out. I haven't fought him yet, I don't think so. We got to reach for the Surge. But anyway, Giovanni, is this like a major fight? Is this a dramatic fight? I consider it a dramatic fight. Is it a major fight? I don't know. But it's dramatic. There's some drama. Yeah, like that. That was dramatic. Yeah. Kangaskhan. I love Kangaskhan. Maybe the next video I do will be a Safari Zone alt main run. I don't remember. Is Kangaskhan a 4%? Or is it... I think Kangaskhan's 4%. Man, doing a run where you have to catch guys in the Safari Zone, that does sound enticing. That does sound enticing, just for the fact that it does sound fucked up. Man, that's the shit that entices me. Oh, a run sounds really fucked up. You need to catch a 4% Pokemon to even start your run. Oh, and it's also like an hour in. Sign me up. That sounds great. Here's the bike voucher. Just get that now. You know, probably could have got it a lot sooner, but hey, whatever. And now we're going into Lieutenant Surge's gym. I fight these guys just because, you know, whatever. It's free experience, and I didn't feel like walking around them. To be honest with you, I was drunk as hell by this point. I had consumed almost the entire bottle of wine by this point. I didn't feel like walking around these guys. I was just like, fuck it. I don't know how long this fucking trash can bullshit's gonna take. Ended up not taking that much time at all. But I was like, fuck, last time I was here for like 3 minutes. I don't want to have to like carefully walk around these fuckers. It's not, nah, I don't want to do that. So, you know, I fought some extra trainers. What a disaster. I'm being visited, as of this current moment, I'm being visited by a Max the dog. I don't know if you can hear him walking around. Hey Max, how's it going? But Lieutenant Surge here is about to get drafted into another war. As I mentioned, the United States has recently attacked Iran unprovoked for no reason whatsoever. You know, I don't want to offend anybody, but let's be honest here. And so, Lieutenant Surge, after this battle, because let's be honest, Lieutenant Surge, he's not that good at Pokemon. He might be good at warfare. I don't really even want to think about the idea of warfare in the Pokemon universe, but he might be good at warfare, not so good at the battles, of Pokemon battles. So, after fighting Lieutenant Surge, I decided to ask him for some tips, because we're all going to get drafted into this war, and it's not looking so good, frankly. It's really not looking so good, so hopefully Lieutenant Surge can help us out. Instead, he just gave us a TM Thunderbolt, which, as I've said before, Primeape can learn Thunderbolt. Now, again, I do not know why. I don't know what the logic is. I imagine it's like Primeape is so quick that it's like thunder? What? I don't know, man. Some anime bullshit. Some fucked up anime bullshit. But you know what? I'll take it. I love anime. I love bullshit. And more importantly than that, I love Primeape. And tertiarily connected to that, I really enjoy Thunderbolt. It's a really cool move. Here I get the bicycle. We all love the bicycle. Last time I did a no bike run. I didn't have it in me this time. I did end up using the bicycle a little bit. I didn't end up using it here just because I really do not like the bicycle. I really I'm not a fan of bicycles. I do use it at some points, but I try not to use it, especially when you're passing through so many areas with some cool music, you know. But anyway, here we are, Pokemon Tower. I got Thunderbolt, I got Karate Chop, and I got Dig. So, I'm set, right? Right? Well, first, before we do Pokemon Tower, well, I mean, I guess technically we are doing Pokemon Tower, but anyway, I gotta fight the rival. At this point, piss easy, not even a competition. It's really, like, the thing about, doing, these alt main runs, and this is only the second one I've done. The first one I did was, Nidoking, which is, I guess, the main. You know, in Pokemon speedrunning, Nidoking is the main, and everything besides the Nidoking is alternate. But what if they found a way, like, do people explore that? Like, the what if there's a way that other Pokemon are faster, but, like, no one's actually, thinking about that? Maybe I'm going to discover something. Hey, I don't know, man. I don't even know if anyone's done a Primeape run before. I was looking on speedrun.com. Someone has done a Victory Bell run, which is my last one. I couldn't find any for Primeape. So either someone's done it and it's not on the website, or no one's done it before. This could be a world record. You could be watching the best Primeape run of all time. Ever. Throughout history. Number 1. And that's the thing. That's what separates rad from dumb. Is rad is number 1, and dumb is frankly not number 1. He loves talking about being number 1. This guy won't shut the fuck up about how he's number 1. He's number 1. He loses every battle. Actually, he won the first battle, but let's just ignore that. But this guy just doesn't shut the fuck up. Number 1, number 1. And actually, I'm number 1 at Primeape. I'm the best Primeape player of all time. At least according to speedrun.com. I'm not really posting these on speedrun.com at the moment. I don't, you know, they're not really good enough, frankly. Like, I want to be able to, like, at least beat the game under 3 hours before I start telling people that I'm doing this, you know? Like, kind of gross. But now we're going into Pokemon Tower. Super easy. Again, I'm decked out with moves that can one-shot these guys. I'm so over-leveled that it's really not that much of a problem. You know, I really love Ghastly in Pokemon Red and Blue. There's just something about that MS Paint spray can bullshit like that they got going on. Just really cool. I really enjoy that. I know in later games they kind of smooth out like Ghastly's like weird kind of aura thing. But I really love that MS Paint Windows 95 spray can vibe. That's where I'm at right now. And these games originally came out in 1996, actually. They were... Actually, did you know that Pokemon Green and Red were originally slated to be released in 1995, and then they got delayed until February 1996? That's your gamer trivia. We got gamer trivia. Anyway, after the gamer trivia is over, we get the Pokemon Flute. And that's where the whole game is opened up. So I've got, I got 3 badges. At this point, I'm kind of just like, okay, I want to learn some lessons from the previous runs. So the lessons I learn are to just go ahead and do the gyms that are easy first, rack up some levels, and maybe even do the Safari Zone, get that out of the way, and then go back into Saffron and do Sylph Company. Because the rival fight in Sylph Co, like, you can, like, access it now, but, like, I think having a Primeape that's, whatever level it is, 37? I think having a level 37 Primeape is not good enough to go through the rivals team. And this is, like, a little bit of, like, look at this. We got Primeape versus Victory Bell. Now, the last run I did was with Victory Bell, so this is kind of like that baton pass, the passing of the torch. You know, who's better, Victory Bell or Primeape? Well, let's just let Erica decide, and Erica decided to let Victory Bell suffer for some reason because she's a terrible gym leader. Also, I really enjoy that, like, in the story, you know, yeah, there's a story in these games. When you talk to Erica, she's like asleep, like she's not even really paying attention. Like, that's crazy, man. Like, I mean, also, like, thinking about the vibes of just, like, Erica's gym, like, it's like she's in like a grassy greenhouse sanctuary, right? The flowers are probably smelling amazing. She's probably has like a whole herbal garden like somewhere in the back room. Like, so when she's out cold, like, you know, you bet your sweet bippy that she is on like all kinds of like hallucinogenics. You know, if she's got this whole grass gym, she can barely open her eyes. Look at that shit. She is chilling. Let's just put it that way. She's having a great time. Rainbow badge. You ever think about it? Why does she have the rainbow badge? Because she's getting high, she's seeing colors, and she's falling the fuck asleep. I'm gonna take a quick break to go urinate. But through the power of editing, you will be seeing the next up. I decided to actually go on Cycling Road for the first time in any one of these runs. In the first run, I decided to take the watery route to Fuchsia for some reason. I don't remember. It was a long time ago, 1 week. And for the second run I decided to stand on principle and do a no bike run, because honestly, who likes bikes anyway? I don't like bikes. But this time I succumbed. I got the bike and I went on Cycling Road and decided to go ahead and try Koga. You know. And then just went ahead on in to the Safari Zone, and it was around this point in the run where I started to get a little antsy, you know, a little bit. The entire bottle of wine is, well, needless to say, it's long gone. I still don't know if there's a faster way to exit the Safari Zone. I'm not sure. But anyway, we go on over to Sylph Company. Is it Sylph with an I or with a Y? Or an E? Think about that one for a while. But in Sylph Company, which is a, or is it Sylph Corporation? Fuck. But fighting in Sylph Company, I am now fighting Dumb. The dumb self. And once again, I'm just like, the fact that PRIMEAPE can learn Thunderbolt is just truly, to me, I don't get it. You know, again, is it like a super, is it like a Dragon Ball Z type of thing, you know, like where you're just going so fast, you know, like in Dragon Ball Z. They loved Dragon Ball Z back in 1995, right? Like I think Dragon Ball Z was actually like ending in 1995, so they would have loved that shit. We got the lightning, so I don't know, maybe PRIMEAPE is like Super Saiyan. He's got that fucked up hair kind of thing going on. I mean, the hair is kind of like all over his body, but or I mean, I don't know, like, is the hair extending to the arms? Because it kind of looks like it. It's hard to say. Who knows? Or is it fur? What's the difference? Fur and hair? You ever think about this? Fur and hair? I don't know. But anyway, we're going up against X-Egg-Cute, and we got a critical hit. But that's not surprising, because once again, Karate Chop is just absolutely fucking insane in this game. Like, I really, like, when I started this run, I totally underestimated the power of Karate Chop. And so, you know, again, I'm thinking, I could probably finish this game in maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours from this point, which is around, you know, like the 3-hour mark. And while again, I'm not particularly an expert at Pokemon. Some would even say I'm an amateur at this series at this moment. And so again, you gotta learn. You know, 5 hours for PRIMEAPE, is that great? No. It's not. But it's good enough. So, hey, what are you gonna do? So after this guy is rage quitting, I get the Lapras. I need someone who can learn Surf, so you gotta get Lapras. The thing about Lapras is that I just really enjoy Lapras, and I wish, you know, maybe I'll even... The thing about Lapras is you kind of have to beat the rival to get Lapras, and to me that kind of concerns me, because I'd love to do a Lapras run. But getting, like, Lapras is, when you get Lapras level 15, okay, so that's, I don't know, a little concerning. And, you know, you have to beat the rival who's got like 30s, or at this point. So, I don't know. It seems like an interesting run. I think that this is the only spot you can get Lapras. Here's Giovanni, by the way. He's got a suit. That's cool. I think this is the only way you can get Lapras in red and blue. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that they're in any wild encounters. Maybe Cerulean Cave? I'm not sure. But that doesn't really help me if I'm trying to beat the game. So, I don't know. The idea of doing a Lapras run seems daunting, seems scary. Just from that level problem, level 15 on arrival. Though, you know, swap training it, you could probably get it up in a couple battles. You know, sometimes I have problems getting it up, but hopefully, you know, fighting Sabrina, fighting Koga, fighting Giovanni, hopefully that helps me get the levels. That's right, the levels. Get the levels up. And we'll see. Maybe I'll do Lapras at some point. But right now, I'm kind of like, I want to prioritize doing Pokemon that you can get relatively quickly in the game. And I say relative as in like, you know, within an hour or two. You know, like Bellsprout, you can get in like around an hour. Monkey's like a little bit slower than that. But, you know, doing something like an alt main, run when it's something you can only get in, like, Victory Road. I don't know, is there any exclusive in Victory Road? I could be totally wrong. But, like, you know, I don't know. You know, you still have to beat the Elite Four, and that's the main thing, too. But, I'm not sure. Lapras is, I don't know, Lapras isn't that late. Lapras isn't that late, it's no big deal. You could probably speed run to Lapras in some capacity and it wouldn't be too bad. But once again here, going up against Koga, who is a gym leader, in case you didn't know that. He leads a gym. And that's not actually, like, the only thing he's doing. You know, in the future, in the Pokemon universe, he levels up and becomes a member of the Elite Four. So that's some pretty cool stuff. I'm very excited to get into Gold and Silver for this channel, but I gotta sit on it. I gotta wait for it. You know, I can't just come out the gate willy-nilly with Gold and Silver. Pocket Monsters 2, the sequel, which are my personal favorite Pokemon games, Gold and Silver. Which, you know, not to be confused with Heart Gold and Soul Silver. While I enjoy Heart Gold and Soul Silver quite a bit, in fact, I think they're fantastic. They do have a fatal problem of being on the DS, and playing DS games, like, and, you know, this is a whole side rant. You know, actually, was that Koga? No, that was Sabrina. You know, they're all the same. Who cares? But playing DS games with a capture device is a little weird, a little odd. I'm not sure if there's any, like, maybe there is, like, a new, like, modern way to plug in, like, a DS cartridge into a DS and have some sort of, like, peripheral touchscreen, or, like, output the video to a TV and actually play on it. I've never really used a DS with a capture board, but from what I've been told, at least, and this is like 10 years ago, but from what I've been told, they're a little bit laggy, so you kind of do have to play on the DS screen. I don't know, maybe I'll get into DS capture stuff at some point, but that, you know, that's going to be like another 10 years from now, so then my information is going to be 20 years out of date, and hopefully by then, if it's not already done, hopefully by then it's done. But I love Gold and Silver the most, even compared to Heart Gold and Soul Silver. There's something about the old schoolish vibes of the Game Boy Color that I gel with more than the DS's. Like, the thing about the DS games is they have that, like, weird, like, 3D models on a 2D map thing all over the place. Like, you know, in Diamond and Pearl, you know, it was kind of noticeable, but in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, it's all over the place. And that's not complaining. I know it's a graphical upgrade, you know, like, people like that shit. But for me, I like the graphics looking all chunky. That's just my preference. But again, I'm excited to play Gold and Silver on this channel. So hopefully at some point, maybe I'll make a goal, a Gold and Silver of maybe, like, you know, 100 different runs of Red and Blue. Does that unlock Gold and Silver? Well, maybe let's just imagine. All right, Red and Blue came out. It's 1998. Maybe I'll just wait until Gold and Silver come out. What was that? In 2000 in North America, somewhere around there. Maybe I'll just wait. You know, I'll just do a real-time demonstration. You know, of course, back in the day, when I first got into Pokemon was, you know, like, when I first played a Pokemon game, I think Gold and Silver were new. And I remember renting them from Blockbuster. But I was not like a super duper huge fan at that time. I had seen the anime. I really enjoyed the anime. That's probably my main Pokemon exposure, was through the anime. I'd rent the games from Blockbuster, but it was mostly just to like, oh look, those are the creatures from the anime, right? So, but yeah, like when I first got Fire Red, that was like a big shift for me, because that was when I got Fire Red, it came out, it was new, and I was like, oh shit, and it was like a way for me to play Pokemon Red and Blue in completion. Like, again, I've told the story, I never really played the whole games all the way through on one sitting, and so I remember, like, as soon as I finished Fire Red after like a couple weeks of mania, is when I got my hands on all 6 of the Gen 1 and 2 games, and I played the fuck out of Gold and Silver so much like, even when Fire Red was brand new, I was stuck in Gold and Silver, and then after beating Gold and Silver, I was like, oh, let me move all my guys over to Fire Red. I can't wait. And, you know, I had to learn the hard way. Just like so many other people, I'm sure, I had to learn the hard way, but, you know, I'm sure that there's a way to do that now. There's got to be some sort of horseshit mechanism that you can do to transfer Pokemon from Gen 2 to Gen 3. But either way, who cares? We're fighting up against Sabrina here. Sabrina's been known to cause me some problems. This Alakazam, needless to say, I'm very impressed. But I'm also not that impressed. Like, you could be doing better with this Alakazam. I don't even really know what I'm saying. I'm just trying to fill time here. But Primeape goes out, 64 health. What could possibly go wrong? The thing about Primeape, and again, I taught Primeape Dig. Dig's been kind of like the major move I've been using. I got Thunderbolt too, which I used a little bit, but I got that a little bit later. Karate Chop and Dig are just insane. Like, Dig is really good because it's got that defensive play where it's like it kind of stalls a turn. And Dig in Gen 1 just deals an absurd amount of damage. It's offensive how much damage Dig deals. And in Generation 1, also known as Red, Blue, Yellow, also known as Red and Green, also known as Blue, also known as Yellow, also known as Special Pikachu Edition. Even though, like, you know, like, Yellow, when you think about it, Special Pikachu Edition, is kind of like Gen 1.5, because they kind of fucked with movesets a little bit. You know, they did a couple other things. They added, like, you know, pseudo-friendship mechanics. So, I don't know, man. It's kind of like Gen 1.5. Have you ever seen anything like that since? I don't know. Are the new Pokemon games like that? Do they still do, like, the third game thing? The, you know, Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald type situation? I don't know anything about the new games. I think, like, the last time I heard about a new Pokemon, I think it was, Sword and Shield. So, I don't know anything about him, to be honest with you. I don't know jack fuck. But anyway, maybe I'll play Pokemon Yellow at one point. Here we go. We got Koga, the man with a cape, who once again graduates to the Elite Four pretty soon. I don't, like, that's the thing. When does he do it? Like, there's a 3-year time skip in between. That's when I started talking about Gold and Silver. Was this, or Full Circle? Accidentally switched the palette there. But when does Koga graduate to the Elite Four? Is it like right after you know, Red defeats the Elite Four, and then he goes in there? It's like Red steamroll. Like, well, 2 people defeat the Elite Four in like the span of like 30 minutes, right? So they have probably a PR crisis at some point. They're like, you know, no one can beat us. Then 2 guys from Pallet Town, of all motherfucking places, they show up, kick our asses in like fucking 20-30 minutes of time span, you know. So they probably had to suffer a big PR crisis, if I can imagine. Maybe they answer this question in the lore of Gold and Silver. It's been a long time since I played those. But like, you know, again, if I'm supposed to be the Elite Four, the best trainers in the whole place, the world? I don't know. Did they claim to be the best in the world? I'm not sure. But at least the best in Kanto. And as we later learn, Kanto and Johto, they kind of use the same Elite Four, you know. You know, it's kind of like a rump state type situation. But, you know, they're the best in town, at the very least, if the town is the entire region of Kanto Johto. And they get totally steamrolled by 2 children from Pallet Town. It's kind of like a huge blow to the ego. You know, at least it would be a blow to my ego if I were in the Elite Four. You know, so, hey, for all I know, Koga was already kind of in the approval stages, and he was just a couple days away from starting at his new job in the Elite Four. But either way, I wish him well. just like Donald Trump wished Jeffrey Epstein's best friend well. I wish Koga well in that endeavor. And now we're in Pokemon Mansion, which is, again, one of my favorite places in the game. I just remember getting lost in Pokemon Mansion for a long time, several times. I got lost there in Fire Red, Leaf Green. I got lost there in Red and Blue as a youngster. But in Red and Blue, and that's something I will say about Red and Blue over Fire Red, Leaf Green that I prefer is the music. Well, I love the Fire Red, Leaf Green music. It has such a different tone and vibrancy than Red and Blue. A lot of people love to harp on Lavender Town as, ooh, scary Lavender Town. And like, yeah, okay, Lavender Town, pretty good song. I like Lavender Town quite a bit. But the Pokemon Mansion, honestly, is a scarier song than Lavender Town because it actually has like more of like a body to it. It kind of carries you a little bit more in certain directions, higher highs, lower lows. Let me know if you agree or disagree. I think Pokemon Mansion is scarier than Pokemon Tower and Lavender Town. I think it's the scariest song in the game. Also, shoutouts to Viridian Forest, which can be a little bit scary. But anyway, we got Blaine here. Once again, I would love to remind everybody that Caterpie does not evolve into Butterfree. It evolves into Metapod. But you know, 1984 is not a book. It's a documentary. So we had to answer that question incorrectly in order to proceed without an extra battle. Who knows? Maybe I'll change my mind next time. I don't know. Someone's got to fight for the truth at some point. But anyway, Blaine, super easy. Again, Dig is just like totally insane against someone like Blaine. And Arcanine looking extremely fluffy. You know, don't you just want to get one of those brushes and just brush the hell out of this guy? I do. I want to brush Arcanine. But that, you know, anyway, so after this, you know, that's the thing about the end game of Pokemon Red and Blue. Like, really, once you get the Pokeflute, you can kind of steamroll the rest of the game. Like, it's super quick and easy on the mental effort. I don't know, for me, like, when I play a game like Pokemon, like, for me, this run was 5 hours, ish, you know, 5 hours, like, 20 minutes. And, you know, like, there's time is, like, an hour is an hour, but then there's, like, the mental energy. You know, like, to me, like, the first, like, third of the game, like, from the start up until, like, getting cut, is, like, the most, like, in my opinion, the most taxing part of the game, from a mentality perspective, because, you know, at least in an alt-main speedrun like this, where it's like, that's when I get Primeape or Monkey, and, you know, Monkey's really low level compared to someone like Charmeleon, so it's like a little awkward. I gotta think a little bit more. But once you're in this part of the game, really, it's just kind of, where do I go next? Right there. And then you just mash A to win. And, you know, I love mashing A to win. Especially when I'm consuming an entire bottle of wine during the process. And again, Dig to win on this one. Like, I'm blown away with Dig being just so goddamn good. And one of these days, I will learn the proper method of Dig warping in Pokemon Red and Blue and Green and Yellow and all the other games. I don't know how many games you can Dig warp in. In Red and Blue, at least, Dig takes you, I believe, if I remember correctly, I haven't done it yet in any of these runs, but if I remember correctly, it takes you to the last Pokemon Center you went to, as opposed to just, like, the cave entrance, which I think they do in the later Pokemon games. They just send you to the cave entrance, which makes a lot more sense, by the way. Like, the concept of Primeape, like, digging me from Cinnabar Island to, you know, to fucking, you know, Cerulean or something is just really funny. But, yeah, anyway. Giovanni, Gonzo, one day I'll learn how to dig properly. Can you even dig out of gyms? I don't even know. Got something stuck in my tooth right now. Slightly distressing. Anyway, I got it. So Primeape fainted there, unfortunately. And I don't think I was, like, paying attention at the time because Primeape was fainted and it just kind of hung there. But it wasn't, like, long enough. I didn't take a bathroom break. I think it was just mashing A and I was, like, phasing in and out of existence because I was processing the copious amounts of alcohol that was going through my brain. I would even argue that the alcohol probably broached the blood-brain barrier, but we'll get into that later. You know, my blood-brain barrier, it's needless to say, it's seen better days. Okay, let's just put it that way, end it there. But of course, Giovanni, like by the time you get to Giovanni, it's just super easy. The thing I like about Giovanni the most, the 8th gym, I should say, is I find that the gym is really interesting. First of all, it's got items in the gym, which is like really cool. It's got like that spinner puzzle, which you see a lot in the Team Rocket place, in the previous Rocket place. So it's got that connection with Giovanni. Like he probably, like the gym probably had the spinners to begin with, and then he was like, oh, I like this, and then he brought the spinners to the Rocket hideout. I don't know. Is that the lore? Is that real? I don't know. Someone tell me. But I love that the 8th gym, because when you get to the 8th gym, when you unlock the 8th gym, it's super easy. You know, you don't have to like do any additional stuff. You just kind of unlock it and you're there. And so I really enjoy the atmosphere of the 8th gym. To be honest with you, I think it's too short. I wish that the puzzle were longer. But anyway, here we have the rival fight. Again, I'm still blown away at the existence of Thunderbolt on PRIMEAPE. I'm sorry, I had something stuck in my tooth again. It got back in there. You ever like pick something out of your teeth with your tongue, right? And then like it kind of floats around your mouth. You didn't quite like get it out of your mouth properly. By the way, level 51, how cool is that? And then like it kind of like somehow lands itself back where, like it wasn't in the same tooth area, but just very strange behavior. Let me get some water here. Anyway, it's the last rival fight before the champion. I'm trying to get this fucking thing. Alright, alright. Alright. Okay. Alright, I got it. Alright, we're safe. Anyway, fighting Alakazam again? Oh my god, every time I look at the fucking screen, Alakazam is fucking me over with those goddamn spoons. I really enjoy how the sprite actually has the spoon looking extremely fucked up in the sprite there. Like, holy shit. I don't really know what the etymology, if you could use that term, of twisted spoons are. I know that that's like a meme in the psychic world. But I don't like what is the, like, did someone twist the spoon one day in like in a major hoax or something in like 1938 and then it became a part of the public consciousness? Where did that come from? If anyone knows, let me know. I could look this up, but by the time this video commentary is done, I will have forgotten that I wanted to know that. I could write it down right now. I do have my red pen and I do have a notepad right in front of me. My hands are totally free and functional, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to throw Kosh into the wind. You ever hear that phrase? I'm gonna throw Kosh into the wind. You know, I'm just gonna throw it right in there. I got a whole shitload of Kosh. I got a bag full of Kosh, and I'm just gonna empty it into the wind. But anyway, this whole rival fight's still happening. Lapras is doing a really great job. You know, that's the thing about Lapras, is like, even though Lapras is level 15, like, I feel like when I swap in Lapras, you know, anything can happen, I feel. And so I lose against the rival. It's actually kind of embarrassing. And then I go ahead and buy a bunch of X items. Once again, all I know is that speedruns use X items at some point. And I know that X items are pretty good. I will be honest with you, when I play Pokemon casually, or at least played, like, historically as a kid, in my brief stint as a teenage individual playing ROM hacks, I never really used X items. That's just never, like, I always just preferred, like, battling as many trainers as I could and just being over-leveled or fighting wild Pokemon, or, I don't know, I was never really an items in battle type of individual when I played Pokemon. You know, I'll use a potion if I need to. But I don't know, I never really did it. I never really did that, so I don't quite have that much experience with the X item meta, as it were. But, you know, I'm pretty sure X items are good, so I use them here and there, you know, give them a shot. But anyway, we're trying the rival again. This time, hopefully, PRIMEAPE is a little bit of a higher level, so that might make the difference. I don't know. And that's the thing about execute. Like, just look at this fucking guy. I don't know why I started that sentence with "that's the thing," because that implies that the previous sentence had anything to do with execute, but this is a whole brand new paragraph. But that's the thing about execute. Like, I love execute sprite. And how each of the different games kind of like tried to give the faces like a little bit of a different expression. I feel like the faces kind of got, you know, like in Gen 3 and 4, the faces kind of all look the same. At least to me, to my memory. I could be totally wrong. I'm totally just making this up. But I really enjoy execute in green versus red and blue versus gold and silver. And then gold and silver both have different sprites, which I think is fucking awesome. That's one of the coolest things about Pokemon Gold and Silver is they just redid the sprites for all the Pokemon. And then Crystal, you have the sprite animations. And then Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire, you know, we'll get to Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire at some point. But that's the thing, like, when I had played Ruby and Sapphire, I played Ruby when it was relatively new. You know, like, I got Ruby, like, maybe a couple months or so before Fire Red had come out, so it was still kind of new. And I just remember, like, I never played Gold and Silver all the way through. Like, once I said, I rented them a lot. But I was just like, so you set the time in Ruby and Sapphire, and then there's no day-night cycle? Oh. And then, you know, I had played Crystal at one point, so I knew that they had the animated Pokemon, and that was really cool to me to see in Crystal. And then there's none in Ruby and Sapphire. I don't know. Ruby and Sapphire, to me, at the time, felt like Ruby was my first Pokemon game that I owned, and then Fire Red was like the first one I bought on release. And so to me, like, they hold that special place in my heart. I love those bitches to death. I think they're fantastic. But like, when I first properly played through Gold and Silver, it was insane to me. The feeling of downgradedness that I looked at Ruby and Sapphire with, and I still do. I look at Ruby and Sapphire not as Pokemon 3, which Pokemon, if you don't know, Gold and Silver were referred to as Pocket Monsters 2. When they were being developed, they kind of were under the impression that these were the last games, that it's like Pokemon has kind of already run its course. It's kind of already over, but they're going to make another game anyway, just for the hardcore fans, you know? And, you know, needless to say, that kind of went out of control from there. But, like, there's something crazy about, and by the way, we're in Victory Road, who cares? But there's something to me that's just crazy about Gold and Silver just being such a massive upgrade. And then Ruby and Sapphire was kind of like that fresh start. It was kind of like that reboot. They removed several features. To me, the day-night cycle was a core feature. I don't know how they got away with removing it. To me, it's absurd. But hey, whatever. I'm still pissed. I'm still pissed 20 years later, man. I mean, in fact, I'm even more pissed now than I was before. I wonder if there's any ROM hacks of Ruby and Sapphire that reintroduce the day-night cycle. You know what? That's something I gotta look up. That would be interesting. But anyway, it's Victory Road. There's nothing special here. It's Victory Road. I guess Moltres is in Victory Road. That's special. Here, I fight this cool trainer because I'm a fucking idiot. And I get a little bit of a rematch. PRIMEAPE versus Victory Bell. Once again, who's the winner, who's superior? It looks like it's not even close. And we're about to get into the Elite Four, so I guess I'll start talking about the Elite Four. We're wrapping up here. You know, you might be looking at the video progress bar, and you might be thinking, what? Whoa, we're wrapping up, and yet there's still so much goddamn time left. And you might be wondering why. And that's just because, you know, I decided to play through the Elite Four and then lose. And then play through the Elite Four again, and then lose. But anyway, here's my first try. Again, I've been collecting rare candies. I'm sure there's a bunch of more rare candies that I could get. In fact, I looked up a guide the other day, and by that I mean like yesterday, after I played, and tried to find out where some more rare candies were that I'm not directly familiar with already as it is. And I found a couple that I could probably add to the route. But of course, I like to use the rare candies right before I fight Blue. Sometimes I'll use them against the Lance if I'm not feeling so hot. But I like to go in to the Elite Four without using any rare candies just to see how it goes, you know, just to kind of get my bearings straight. And needless to say, Laura Lee, very, very scary. And, you know, again, I kind of underestimated Agatha in this run. I mentioned that before, I believe. And so to me, in my brainstem, in my understanding of the universe, Agatha is one of the easier Elite Four members. To me, like, even as a kid, it would be Laura Lee, and then it would be Lance can be sometimes problematic, but especially in Fire Red Leaf Green, because in Red and Blue, Lance is just like straight up broken. Like, Lance just does not work at all. like so much so, like, it's so broken, the Lance fight, that I am shocked that it even passed QA. In fact, if you were to tell me that they didn't do QA for the Elite Four, I would believe you, because Lance is so fucked up. So really, it's just Laura Lee and the Rival that are, to me, in my brainstem, the most concerning of the bunch. But Agatha gave me like a few runs for my money here. Even with Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt doesn't really do too much damage here. So you're kind of like, you have to use Dig, and I used a bunch of Digs already, so like I was kind of low on PP. So, you know, whatever, man. But Dig is just so fucking good. And so again, when I was going into this Elite Four run, it was just kind of like seeing where I'm at. I'm not going to use that many healing items because I plan on losing. I went in here thinking, you know, if I get to the Rival, I'll pop my candies and see how it goes, but I'm probably going to lose. And that is really what happened there. I lost against Agatha. But again, you know, a little surprising. I thought I would be able to just get through Agatha. I'd probably lose against the Rival. That was my initial thinking on this practice run. But either way, going in against Laura Lee with the levels that I gained should have been easier, but it really wasn't. But, you know, still, I managed to come out scathed, but still, I came out. And that's good. I love coming out. Personally, you know, anyway, going into Bruno, and I'm already done. I didn't even get a chance to do any commentary. And now we're back to Agatha once again. So Agatha, again, super easy if you just kind of plan your moves a little bit more intelligently. More importantly, if you don't get confused, Agatha's super easy. So here we are, easy peasy. I'm gonna win. Again, Lance is like not even a fight. Like Lance is so broken that, like, it's not even a fucking fight. Aerodactyl, I kind of forget that, like, Aerodactyl is super weak to Thunderbolt, and I'm really low on Thunderbolts. But, you know, hey, eventually, I got the Aerodactyl down. And then we got Dragonite, which, again, is pretty much free. And that's Lance. So now we are heading into the Rival. And I'm just going to give you a little bit of a spoiler alert. The Rival, hard, not impossible. But, you know, you can probably tell by the lack of the epic music that this did not go so well. I decided, you know what? I could brute force this with revives and full restores, probably. But I was also running low on actually, I think I was out of revives. Actually, I think that's what happened there. And so I was like, you know what? I gained all these levels. The next time I go into the Elite Four, it shouldn't be a problem. And that's what we're doing here. We're going into Laura Lee. As always, after beating, or losing rather, to the Rival, I forgot to re-disable the battle animations. That's the thing I love about this game, is that, like, it's not like there's a flag for the Rival fight to, like, override the options menu. Because, like, it's the only fight in the game that does that, where animations have to be on. So instead, what it does is it manually goes into your options menu and disables, or just, I guess, enables the animations. So that when you lose, the animations stay on. There's no flag to, like, if you had to change them, then change it back. It's just like, hey, you lost against the Rival? What the hell, man? Like, and then it's also, you beat the game, and then animations are on again? How the hell did that happen, you know? So I just find that to be really funny. And I always forget. I always fucking forget to turn them off. I always lose against the fucking Rival, and, like, I'm just mashing A. I'm barely even lucid at this point. I think I went to the bathroom at this point. I was like, you know, Hitmonlee's got, like, -1 health left, so this is a very tense moment in human history. Probably could cut this part out, but I didn't. So, and I won't. even after saying this, I'm still editing the video, and I won't do it. Because then I gotta, like, you know, I gotta realign the audio tracks, and that's a hassle. I don't want to do that, so I'm not gonna do it. Frankly, I'm just not going to. But anyway, Bruno, super easy as usual. I'm looking forward to finding a Pokemon where, like, you know, Laurely is a wall. Agatha, I got walled here, so I now have that experience. And so I want to find a Pokemon at some point where Bruno is the wall. Like, imagine that. Like, Laurely, easy. Agatha, Lance, rival, pretty easy. Bruno's the wall. I'm sure at least one Pokemon is that way. I don't know who. Maybe someone could tell me. But I'm sure at least one Pokemon is that way. And, again, going into Agatha, super easy. You know, I'm at this point, my levels are high enough. It's a matter of time. The animations, this is around when I realized, wait, why are there animations on? What the hell is happening? How did I find myself in this mess? And, you know, I'm paralyzed. I got 40 health. I could use a full restore in battle. I was thinking about it, but I just decided, fuck it. I'll wait until this whole thing is over. And then I realized, oh, I don't even have a full restore. Nice. I don't even have one. So then I'm like, well, maybe I'll use a max potion. Nah, it's actually easier to just die in battle and get revived so that I can get rid of this fucking paralysis. And again, the animations are on, so just kind of deal with that. And now we're unparalyzed. We're also resuscitated, so, you know, it's a 2-for-1 deal. And here we go, 68, level 68 Primeape versus Gyarados. And again, that's pretty much it. Like, Lance is just so goddamn easy. It's kind of just, again, I struggle to even acknowledge that this game had any quality assurance. Like, it's just, how do you fuck up the final bosses so much? You know, like, it's the final bosses. Like, if anything, the final boss and, like, the first, like, hour of the game, well, you know, when it comes to a speedrun, that doesn't mean much. But, like, the first, you know, like, Pallet Town, Route 1, Route 2, Viridian, you know, like, that should be the most optimized from a game design standpoint. No glitches, everything should work perfectly, and then you want to have your final boss work perfectly, and then you make Lance just, like, not even function whatsoever. To me, it's awesome. But anyway, here we go, rival. Mr. Dumb, as I like to call him, Big Dumb Dumbfuck, and sending out his Pid Gayot, and again, against a level 69 PRIMEAPE. And needless to say, it's like, I'm out of Thunderbolt, so I'm a little nervous here because it's like, oh, Thunderbolt, kind of want that for a couple guys coming up, but hey, whatever. But then I just remember, believe in the power of Dig. I'm level 69. Dig is super goddamn good. What could possibly go wrong? And again, at this point, I don't really know where elixirs or ethers are. I could probably look them up in a guide. In fact, I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, I did find an elixir in one of the guides I was looking up. Yeah, that's right. I use a guidebook sometimes, but not like, you know, I'm not like actively strategizing during the run. In fact, I'm not even really strategizing at all. I just decided to look at the guide so I can kind of go like, oh yeah, there are PP restoring items in this game, and here's where 1 or 2 are, and, you know, by the time I'm doing this commentary, which is not very much later, I've already forgotten where they are. I think there's like one in Sylph Company, or Corporation, I should say. Not sure. But either way, that doesn't matter, because we have Dig, and Dig is just really fucking good, except against Executor. That's the thing about Executor, like, Executor, I should say, is Executor, like, what the fuck, man? Like, the face on the left, like, scary. The face on the right, like, looks too goofy. The face on the right looks like he just made a really funny joke and is now waiting for you to laugh, right? That's the face on the right. On their left, you know. And then you have the face in the middle, which just, like, is that scary, like, what are you talking about? Oh, you know, is that so? Type of face. You know what I mean? Like, oh, tell me more type of face. You know, like that whole, like, you know, like, you know what I'm saying. You know what I mean. If you don't know what I mean, then who cares? It doesn't matter. You got this fun rival fight to watch where I use a Max potion. Coincidentally, Max is the name of a dog that I happen to be really best friends with. So everyone please give a wonderful welcome to Max the dog. Maxie! Hey, Max. I'm about to beat the game. He's asleep right now. And also, I beat the game last night, so I'm lying. I shouldn't lie to the dog like that, but I gotta come up with something to say because this run's almost over. But yeah, anyway, this is it. PRIMEAPE. Super fun. I'm having a lot of fun so far. I'm only 3 runs in, but I'm having a tremendous amount of fun. And a little mild spoiler alert, but I'm just gonna appear on the screen right here. Here are the final rankings for my first 3 Pokemon games, Pokemon runs. Nidoking and Pokemon Green, which is, you know, I mean, these are all aberrations we're starting out with here. So just factor that in. Maybe at some point I will do a run back of some of these early runs once I get a lot better at the game. But again, so this is really not indicative of the Pokemon used. My slowest run is with the run that speedrunners have determined is the fastest. But again, PRIMEAPE, this is my best run of Pokemon Red and Blue without glitches, and it happens to be using a PRIMEAPE. So super fun, super cool. I'm having a great time playing these games again, and I'm looking forward to exhausting them to death because there's a lot of options in Pokemon, and why play new games when you can just play the old games again? But anyway, I don't know. I know no one's commenting on these videos because I have 0 subscribers at this moment in time as I'm recording this. I haven't told anybody about this channel. I'm keeping it a secret. I want to see what the algorithm does without me doing anything. I would just want to see. It's a little social experiment. You know, feel free if you're watching this and you consult a list of what's up to date on what I have done to recommend any Pokemon to do next. Next up, I will be playing Blue version yet again. Sorry to say, I will not be returning to Green, at least not anytime soon, on account of me being unable to read. So you know, I can't really do too much in Green that's not like without like learning the game quite tremendously again. But anyway, there you go. That is Pokemon Red version with PRIMEAPE, and I had a lot of fun. I don't know how many times I need to say it, but I'm gonna say it again. I had a lot of fun, and that's it. Goodbye. Roll credits. Who's got the credits? Max, give me the credits. Max? Maxie. Come on, give me the credits. He's got them, hold on. That's a good boy. That's a good boy. Bonus Filius, Max. Bonus Filius. Alright, he gave me the credits. I'm ready to go. As in, I'm ready to leave. As in, goodbye, the video's over.